Hello, friends, and welcome to our November of 2025 astrological preview video. I am so excited to share all of what's ahead throughout this month with all of you. And so let's dive right in. This first week of November is not for the faint of heart. Let's start by saying that we are in Scorpio season. Scorpio is a very deep sign. It is one of my favorite signs. It's because that in Scorpio, we really do integrate all of the lessons we've learned throughout the astrological year up until this point. So basically, Scorpio is the time each year. So end of October through three-quarters of the way through November, we're being asked to look at what we've learned since about the March timeframe and what are the lessons that have come up for us. How do we integrate those lessons? How do we alchemize those lessons? What does that even mean? Through the integration of what we've learned, we are also going to build upon and we are going to allow the diamond in the rough to kind of experience that high heat and high pressure before it exposes itself. And that all happens in Scorpio. So, what is the lesson, the big lesson you've learned this year? It will reveal itself through the month of November. During this first week, we have both a Grand Cross energy in the fixed signs as well as the full moon in Taurus. So let's start with that Grand Cross energy. I will say it is not exact. It is not an exact Cardinal Grand Cross, but it is almost there. And that's why we're going to talk about it. The cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. This Grand Cross energy and those four signs actually isn't quite in Capricorn, it's in Aquarius. So we're going to talk about it like it's a Cardinal Grand Cross, but there is a little bit of that Aquarius air sign mixed in. But my Aries friends, my Cancer friends, my Libra friends, my Capricorn friends, my Aquarius friends, where are the tension points happening for you? Because it is clear that, especially in this first week of November, they are present for you. It's because of this square energy, and I always talk about this, the square energy being a 90-degree angle. This is a point of tension because we've got energy flowing across and energy flowing up that creates that sticking point of that 90-degree angle. This is happening in our cardinal signs and in Aquarius. So during this first week of November, be aware of that as it ties into our full moon in Taurus. So, what is it that we're being asked to release and let go of to shore up the foundations of our lives? That includes our finances, our homes that we live in, the physical structures we live in, our access to resources like food, money, anything that really does serve as a foundation of our homes, as well as our families. So, Cardinal Grand Cross, cardinal signs could be going through it. What are those sticking points as it plays into this full moon in Taurus, the first week of November? Sorry about that, friends. Then, as we head into the second week, we are looking at Mercury retrograde. Again, Mercury retrograde does not have to be this big kerfuffle every single time it happens. I will say this is the final Mercury retrograde of this year. Thank the heavens. But with Mercury retrograde, there always does come communication issues. Directly on the heels of this square tension energy from my cardinal signs, just be aware that Mercury retrograde happens right after that. So our communication with others may not fall as we intend it to. The way we receive information may not fall as it was intended. As always with Mercury retrograde, give yourself grace, but also provide that grace to others. This Mercury retrograde does happen fast. It will be over on November 29th, so that's great. It's about exactly 3 weeks long, but it is the final Mercury retrograde of the year. Again, thankfully. As Mercury does go retrograde, it starts in Sagittarius. It will work its way back into Scorpio. So, with all of that, just know that we are dealing with um, big ideas, hence Sagittarius, but also the depth of the emotion, Scorpio. So, as we step foot into that third week, Mercury retrograde it is during that third week that Mercury moves back into Scorpio. So, just be aware during week 2 of November that some of what comes up communication wise that is challenging will likely stick to our emotions come the third week. And that's because, again, Mercury is moving back into Scorpio, which is the depths of our emotions. Let's see, what else do we have? The sun then on the 20th, which again is kind of in that third week of the calendar um, month, we have the sun conjoining Mercury and Scorpio. So this is going to shine a bright light on some of those challenges that we're experiencing in communicating our emotions and all of that Mercury retrograde baloney. So the sun's going to shine a bright light on that during this third week. Also, during the third week, the sun moves into Sagittarius. So we have the opportunity to also say happy birthday to Sagittarius friends, but we have the opportunity to take what we learned during Scorpio season and truly, again, from March until now, to shine the light on how our views have changed, how our minds have opened up. Sagittarius is this beautiful sign where we've just walked through the pain and some of that uncovering of the alchemy of Scorpio season. And now we get to put it to good use. This is where we get to reach a hand back to others who are walking through the same stuff that we just walked through. This is where our ideas change, our philosophies change, our ideas on spirituality might have shifted. It's where we reconnect with the larger thoughts that are not geared towards ourselves, they're geared outwardly. So it's a beautiful time and space as well as the sun moves into Sagittarius on November 21st. Um, Come the last week of the month, we also have some really powerful shifts happening. Saturn is going to turn direct. It's been retrograde since July. So we should feel this infusion of energy around really attacking the to-do lists. Maybe our brains have been muddled on what and how we actually get stuff done. Come the 27th, with Saturn turning direct, after having been retrograde since July, a lot of that will clear. On the 29th, only 2 days later, Mercury shifts out of retrograde and goes direct. It will um, transit from, mm, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, it transits from Scorpio into Sagittarius once it turns direct. So just know that some of the communication issues that we will have experienced throughout the beginning of the month should clear up come the end of the month. And with that, we close out November. We look ahead towards December. Just know that we're entering the darkest season physically of the year. Doesn't always mean it's the darkest season emotionally. This is why so many of our holiday traditions focus on the light. It's to bring the light forward through the darkest hours. And as the darkness does kind of descend on us during this time of year, it reminds us to turn inward. So, really try your best to enjoy that return inwards. It is here during this sweet and very supple time that we get to uncover our deepest, darkest needs, and how we can better attune our focus and our attention inward to supply the needed um, exploration inward. It is really a beautiful time. So own that while we're walking through some of the challenges. Have a wonderful November, and I will see you next month.